Welcome back to the Money Script Podcast. Oh my goodness, it is a beautiful Saturday morning. The sun is shining. It's not raining for once. For those of you that live in the Midwest of the United States, you know what I'm talking about. It's been raining. I feel like all it's been doing is raining. I mean, it said April showers bring May flowers, but what do showers in May bring? I guess it brings me to the podcast booth. On a Saturday morning, I am here with Britt Fit Momance. I am so excited about the conversation we're going to have today. She's also reigning from hometown. Yes, another hometown hero. This is what, 2 shows back to back with hometown heroes. Well, 3. I think 3 shows with hometown heroes. Anyways, season 2 has been all about hometown heroes. So if you're in Charlotte, I'm looking for you so that we can talk about money. So with that, Britt, how are you doing this morning?
I am so amazing. How are you?
Man, I'm amazing too. Like I said, the sun is shining. I get to go outside today, and I feel like I haven't been outside because it's just been muddy and raining and all that other fun stuff. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the rain. I appreciate the rain. I feel it's very cleansing and it's But when it does it every single day for like weeks on end, after a while, I'm just like, is this Seattle? I think that's a place where it rains a lot. I don't know.
Rain gets old real quick.
Yeah. Well, you guys, you experience it as well in Charlotte. I feel like actually you get all of the rain that after it leaves us, it just keeps going east and eventually comes to Charlotte.
Yep.
So I'm sure you guys have been dealing with that as well.
So next time you can just keep it.
Oh, man, I need to keep sending it. Like I told you, I'm over it. But enough about the weather. This is not a weather podcast. This is a money podcast. This is the Money Script Podcast. We are here to talk about money and all things that help make us great with our money. And Britt, you've been doing a lot of work in this space, and that is why we admire you and why we reached out to you to say, hey, why don't you hop on the podcast and share a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about Britt Fit Momance. How did that? First, you got to tell us where the name came from, and just really what is it that you do? How are you helping people?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today. So Britt at Fit Momance is literally who I am. It makes up my fitness journey, me as a mom, and finances. I am so gung-ho about financial literacy and paying off debt and building generational wealth. So instead of just making it about finances, though, because that can kind of get boring to some people sometimes,
hey now.
I incorporated the fitness and the mom life just to make it more organic and authentic to who I am. Because although finances are a huge role in my life, I also am very dedicated to my fitness and, of course, being a mother to my 3-year-old son.
That's beautiful. You said 3-year-old son?
Yes.
And this is your first?
Yes.
Lots of fun. So I have one that's 19. That's the boy, and then I have a 4-year-old girl. So I know all about toddler life. Again, I feel like I forgot. But you were in it. That's the real toddler life right now.
I am in it, and the hazing is real. They will come for you, your life, your patience, everything within 2.5 seconds, and then turn around and tell you that you're their hero and they love you.
Exactly.
It's really great.
Yeah, that is what they do. That is my daughter's favorite thing to do, is after any sort of high energy period, whether it's positive or negative. Right after it's over, Daddy, I love you. I'm like, really? I love you too. Yes, I love you too. And I just have to walk away and just shake my head.
They get over things so fast. It's very admirable.
So fast. The resiliency of these kids is incredible. So tell us a little bit about we have to talk about your fitness journey. It's not a fitness podcast, but it ties in so well. And we are firm believers in health is wealth. And you were saying all of the buzzwords that we love in the beginning of your introduction there. So just tell us, how did this come to be?
So I was thinking about, I was actually on a debt-free journey. So using the debt snowball method, paying off the largest to smallest amount. No, I said that wrong. Sorry. The smallest to largest amount. So it started off with medical bills. Once Legend was born, I racked up about $10,000 in medical and hospital bills. So some went to collections, and then I had to get a mom car. So that was a loan. My credit card was maxed out. So I just started a debt-free journey. I attended a class, Financial Peace University, and after that, I started my debt-free journey and just paying off all my debts. So once I started that, I was following the debt free community hashtag on Instagram for my personal page. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of want to document my journey as well and encourage people and show them that it can be done, no matter what your income is. So I was like, obviously, I want it to be finances related, but then I don't want it to only be finance because I noticed also a lot of people, once they're done paying off debt, then they realize there's so much more to life than just being focused on a debt-free journey. So it kind of just blossoms into more of who they are. So trying to get ahead of the curve on that, I was like, let me incorporate fitness. I am a fit mom, and I'm also fit in my finances. So I did Fit Mom Mans instead of just finances. And with that, I really just started very small, just posting how much I was sending to debt, posting some workouts. I had my trainers record me working out, posting things about Legend, and he was my why and why I'm sacrificing so much to get out of debt so I can build wealth for him, and pass on a legacy. And then it just grew and grew. And once I became debt free, my picture went viral because Anthony O'Neill from Ramsey Solutions reposted it. And ever since then, I've just been documenting where I am with finances, all my mistakes that I've made, and all my wins as well. And just trying to encourage people and make them aware of so many things, money, but also the discipline, the sacrifice, all that comes in together with my fitness as well. If I'm not disciplined or sacrificing, motivated, self-control when it comes to portions of what I'm eating and all that, it just kind of all pours into the same with my finances and my budget. So that's what I do now, is post about my everyday life, and somehow, some way it's around fitness, mom life, or finances.
I love it. Curiosity, then, as you began this journey of paying off your debt, you mentioned that the snowball method, and you actually recalled it in several different ways. And I want all of our listeners to know it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I've seen people pay off debt doing the smallest balance first. I've seen them do the largest interest rate first, the largest balance first, or just the one that has the one that they don't like, or the one that's for the debt that, for the asset that's no longer associated with them. For instance, I had a client who was in a previous relationship, and they had purchased a car together, but the car didn't stay with my client at the end of the relationship. And though it wasn't the worst debt in the portfolio, it was the one that they just wanted to really pay off first. Could have been better if they focused on a student loan or focused on a credit card first, sure. But you know what? They were really motivated by the fact that that debt was paid off and they could move on to the next one. So huge fan of using some sort of method to pay off your debt and to get excited about it and to build more confidence around removing your debt. Out of curiosity, because I think you share this in your Instagram somewhere, but I can't say the number. I can't bring the number to my mind. Didn't you make a post of how much debt you paid off in the time frame that it took?
Yes. It was $19,000 that I paid off, almost 20,000, and probably over 20,000 with interest. But it was $19,000 that I paid off in 11 and a half months. And that was just my medical bills, my credit card, and my car loan. When I graduated from college back in 2012, I actually started paying off my student loans before I even got my degree, because I knew the bill was going to come anyway. So I paid off 26,000 of student loans within 2.5 years.
Wait. You can't just run over that like that. Slow down. You said I started paying off my student loans while I was in college because why?
The bill was going to come anyway.
Oh my goodness, that is revolutionary. The bill was going to come in. Students, I hope you're listening. The bill is coming anyways. I know it's about to be summertime. Lots of you are getting summer jobs. The bill is coming. For those of you that haven't been paying your student loans because of the moratorium on the payments due to COVID, the bill is coming. Now, yes, I know some of you are like, oh, well, the Biden administration is going to help forgive my student loans. Yeah, they might, but check your income. If you're in a six-figure income situation, it might not happen for you. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I could also be totally right or somewhere in the middle. The bill is coming. I'm going to let you continue. I'm sorry. I might have to take that little snippet right there just to play that over and over again. I'm going to have that one on repeat where I can just hit a button and it says the bill is coming. But go ahead.
The bill is coming regardless.
So you paid off $26,000 of student loans and $19,000. Maybe let's call it 20. Let's round it up. So that's almost $46,000 worth of debt in a matter of a few years.
Yep.
So
I did the student loans first. Then I saved up $15,000 to buy a home. And then once I got my home, I had my son shortly after, and that's when I got into debt again.
So you had it. So we talk about this a lot on the podcast as well, and I'm sure you can relate to this. I'm a firm believer that debt only comes from three places, and once we're willing to understand that and recognize it, and you may have recognized this subconsciously, but once you recognize it, then you can put plans in place to not only pay it off, but also find ways to avoid the debt in the future. So the first one is emergencies, and emergencies sometimes can be unavoidable. Like with with giving birth to Legend, something happened with us, with our daughter, something similar where we had complications no complications throughout pregnancy, but not until giving birth were the complications, and we racked up more than that, thousands upon thousands of dollars of debt. I think in the end, what we wound up owing was about $40,000 in debt. And we are still paying on that to this day, and our daughter's 4 years old. But I'll tell some secrets about that a little bit later. So number one is emergencies. So emergencies happen, don't have the money, causes debt. The second one is things that are important to us, but we may put it off and then it becomes urgent. And then we have to do it. Buying cars is a prime example. There are many people on this planet that buy their cars in cash. That's because they save for it over time because they know the bill is coming when they have to buy a car, and they pay cash for the car. Others of us, we may not save enough or save any, and then it's urgent, have to get a car, and now we have debt. College can be the same way for parents that don't save for their kids' college. And then the third one is really just being a little irresponsible. That's the safest way to put it. Spending tomorrow's money today. So now you mentioned that you've already mentioned two categories. You had an emergency, and you had your student loans, which is something you had to borrow for. Where would you say the rest of the debt came from?
Thinking that I needed to book this vacation right now because the flight was on sale and everybody's going, and it's time to what we call YOLO. You only live once. So that's what the rest of it came from, me YOLOing it up.
Yeah, I understand that. That's number three. That is spending tomorrow's money today and thinking that, I'll figure this out. I'll pay this off later. Well, again, congrats. Shout out to you for being able to pay off that level of debt. And you said you used the snowball method, and what you did is you attacked the smallest balance first. Is that correct?
Yes.
Got it. So once you had that smaller balance paid off, then what did you do next?
Well, I celebrated because then I felt mentally I was making traction and I was getting somewhere, that this wasn't impossible. So the first thing I did was celebrate. Like, okay, paid off my credit card. Now everything I was putting towards my credit card can go towards this next bill, which was the medical bills or hospital bills. They were actually, some were paid off on a payment plan. Other ones were in collection. So I called collections, negotiated my settlement. And then once I did that and I got that final bill, I paid that off in a lump sum. And
That,
then all that money I was using towards the smallest one and the medium one, I put towards my car loan.
there you go. And so your car is paid off too?
Absolutely. I only have my mortgage.
I love it. I love it. And I bet you probably refinanced recently.
No, I didn't actually, because I'm going to pay my mortgage off way sooner than what they project, which is like 2046 or something like that. So the interest rate really doesn't hold a weight on me because I'm going to pay it off sooner than what they expect anyway. So as long as I aggressively pay it off and make it a goal, the interest rate, I'm going to just knock it out. It'll even itself out because it's going to be paid off sooner.
So what Britt is talking about there, everyone, is when you have, say, for instance, have clients ask a lot of time about, should I have a 15-year mortgage instead of a 30? And the interest rate that banks offer on a 15-year mortgage is lower than the interest rate that they offer on a 30-year mortgage because it's less risk for the bank. You're making bigger payments. You're going to pay it off sooner. But sometimes I'll share with clients, well, yeah, you could get that 15-year, but sometimes life happens. And when life happens, if you can't afford the 15-year payment, you can't just call the bank and say, hey, instead of 15 years, I want to do 30. They're like, nah, player, you signed up for 15. You got to pay that same higher payment. So what I'll share with clients is that you can take the 30-year and just double up on your payments, make extra principal, whatever the amount of money that was going towards principal and interest, add that amount again, because some of us are escrowing, meaning we have our insurance and our taxes included in our payment. So let's say for math's sake that your principal and interest is $1,500 and your property taxes, yes, the principal and interest is $1,500 and your property taxes and insurance is another $500. That's a $2,000 total payment. Well, you can pay an additional $1,500 on top of that, and you can turn a 30-year mortgage into a 15, a 12, a 10, or I've even seen people, turn those into 7 or 8 year mortgages because they're just doubling up on that principal. And by doing that, you will pay less interest as well. So you won't, even though you may have had a 5% interest rate, you're not going to pay 5% on the total amount that you borrow because you've paid it off so quickly. So that's what Britt is talking about there. So congrats again to you. I feel like this is just a celebratory podcast just for all of the wonderful money moves that you're making. Now, to arrive at a point where you felt like that was important to do, can we talk a little bit about your first memories of money and your first interactions with money to then get to the point where you're like, I'm going to pay my student loans while I'm still in school. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first memory of dealing with money was when I started babysitting at probably the age of like 13, 14. And all the money was mine. And I'm like, wait, so I get to do this work, quote unquote. And then I get to keep this money and like spend it on what I want, either buy what I want or when I go out with my friends, I can, spend it on at the movies. We used to go to movies a lot or the mall. Or eating. So that was my first memory. As I started working, once I turned 16 and got into the medical field, working as a food nutrition technician in the food and services department at a hospital, then I started saving for my car. And, when I was working as a babysitter, my parents told me, whatever you save, then we will match that and buy you a car. So they bought me my car. Once I got my car, they're like, you need to pay to put gas in it. You need to pay your insurance. You can pay your phone bill now. And right away, I just went into saving money and paying bills. So that's kind of how it all started. And as I got my car and talked to my dad about college and things like that, he was really the one that told me, we don't want you to take out a whole bunch of loans. I don't want you to rack up, $50K like I did. So I'm going to help you with school where I can. You are going to have to use some, but you also are going to work. So I worked every single weekend when I was in college, doing the same thing I was doing when I was 16. But I worked every single weekend, had school Monday through Friday. And at 6:30 or 7 a.m., I was working Saturday and Sunday mornings. So I had to live, I had to pay rent in my apartment. My dad would send me gift cards to eat and things like that, which were a tremendous help. But really knew that my dad wanted me in a very successful, financially stable position. So he would always talk to me about money. He bought me books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, things like that. We have talked about money and finances for a very long time. And so as I got older and once Legend was born, he made some decisions that benefited him and Legend as far as his legacy and myself as well. But, we say we do it for Legend. But he also just made sure that I understand the importance of handling business, not having people or creditors breathing down your back, credit card companies, car loan companies, student loan companies, like all they do is take your money at the end of the day. You get paid and they take your money. And so he just really always talked to me about finances. So once I had Legend and I did rack up more debt, and I realized that if I were to pass away or anything were to happen to me, this is what I'm leaving behind, is all these negative balances. And I wanted to increase my net worth so that my son only had positive balances and assets if something were to happen to me.
And incredible, just beautiful. I heard so many things there. The fact that your father, or we'll just say parental units, because whether you're father or mother, you can start to instill these things in your children by having conversations about money, by encouraging to save, give them a reason to save, tell them you'll match their savings. If you can't fully match it, tell them you'll half match it, something. But because that's what happens when you are investing in the real world. You get that compounding effect of your money. But when you're just using a piggy bank sitting on a jar, there's not a lot of compounding in that piggy bank when it's just sitting on the counter or the dresser. So those are things that you can do as a parent. So parents out there listening, that you can start to have these conversations about money with your kids, and reading books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, great book. Richest Man in Babylon, great book. There's lots of other ones. I can't think of them right now, just because it's still a little early in the morning. But we have a whole list of books on our website. Go to our website, check out moneyscriptwealth.com, or excuse me, mymoneyscript.com, and look at some of the books that are recommended there, and have a reading club with your kid and talk about finances. Now, you were mentioning, you said that your father, I believe you said, made some decisions that would benefit him and Legend. So Legend must be his only grandchild at this point?
Yes, he is.
Okay. So when you said that, I think what you were referring to is some sort of estate planning or end of life financial decisions that your father made?
Yeah, and just, my father owned, him and his wife owned like 3 rental properties at the time Legend was born, and they were just like, once he was born, they were like, what are we going to leave behind, to Brittany and Legend and my brother and sister. And so they were just like, right now we have this debt. So we've had these homes for 15 years. If we sell them now, obviously everyone knows the market is really hot right now. So within the last 2 years, they thought about selling their homes, their rental properties. And once, just like the snowball method, once you pay off one, then you roll it into the other. Once you pay off that one, you roll it into the other. They had 3 sold properties and were able to pay off their mortgage in the home that they live in right now. So all they're doing is building wealth and giving. So that's what I mean when he put himself in a position so that now he can give. Now my dad and I both contribute to Legends of 529 college savings. He actually is the one that set it up and started it because he knew he had the funds available by not having all this debt.
I love it. And listeners, 529 plan. A 529 plan is a education savings plan. You can put money, anybody can gift money into the account, and then the money, when it is spent on the beneficiary, as long as it's used for education, including elementary, middle school, and high school, where there's, for those that are in private school systems, and college, you can use it towards college as well. And it's most popular, the most common method lately has been that it's used for college. They just recently changed the rules to say that it can be used for private school as well. But it's a great way to get that compounding effect on on the dollars that you're saving. Brittany, you got all of the tips and tricks and tools already working for you. I also saw that you had a post recently that you've already maxed out your Roth IRA, and it's only, what is it, May?
Yeah, I maxed out my 2020 Roth IRA because we had until May 17th for the IRS to let us max it out, which was tax day this year. So my 2021, I will start working on here shortly, but I'm really focusing on getting my mortgage balance lower and making some principal only payments on that to align with my finance goals for this year.
Incredible. Yeah. So Roth IRA, yes, you had until May 17th. So yeah, we're recording this after May 17th. So yes, if you're hearing this now, you already missed out on 2020. But 2021, it's open and available to you. And you have until April 15th or whatever tax day will be next year. Because now, as we've seen, the government can move tax day with a stroke of a pen. But you have until tax day of 2021 to make that 2021 Roth IRA contribution. It's $6,000. Well, you have to have at least $6,000 in earnings, but $6,000 for everyone that makes under, what is it, around $98,000 if you're single, I believe it is. And then if you're married, it's a different number, but just Google it. Roth IRA limits. Figure out, make sure you're below the income limit. If you're above the income limit, there's still a way that you can put the money in. Hit me up later. I can tell you about that. It's called a backdoor Roth IRA.
Backdoor Roth.
Backdoor Roth. You can Google that one too. It may, if it's new information, excuse me, if it's new to you, you may not quite understand the terms they're saying, but feel free, hit me up. We can talk about it. So speaking of hitting up, Britt, tell us, where can we find you? How can we learn more for all the moms out there that want to help improve their fitness, help improve their finances, and also, what was the third one? Finances, fitness,
Mom life.
And mom life. There we go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we're still working through that part, but it's an everyday journey and I love it here. So I can be found at FitMomance, FitMomance on Instagram. And I do offer one-on-one money coachings where we talk about either debt-free payoff strategies, income increases. And I also post pretty much on my stories a lot about my everyday life. So any mom tips, tricks. And I just really appreciate you having me today. Thank you so much, The Money Script. And I'm so excited for the listeners to hear this episode.
And so am I. Enjoy your weekend. I obviously need to get some water. Maybe I'll just go stand outside in the rain. But enjoy your weekend, and we look forward to maybe following up with you next season.
Yeah, let's do it.
Indeed.
Thanks for joining us on the Money Script podcast. Be sure to check out our other episodes, subscribe, follow, and give us 5 stars. Continue to send your financial questions on Twitter or Instagram at the Money Script. Go to moneyscriptwealth.com and schedule your complimentary consultation to discuss your specific goals and concerns. Financial advisory and investment management services are offered by Money Script Wealth Management PLLC, a registered investment advisory firm registered in the state of Texas and California and other states where exempt. The Money Script LLC and the Money Script Wealth Management PLLC and guests of the episode may have interest in the investments mentioned today. The opinions and views are expressed here are for informational purposes only. This material is educational in nature and should not be deemed as a solicitation for any specific product or service. All investments involve risk and a significant loss of principal. The Money Script nor Money Script Wealth Management offer tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney for specific advice about your situation. Until next time.